Another C.D.C production.
What is up, world? Glad to be back on here. Glad to be talking to y'all. I've been gone for a little minute. Been excuse me, I've been doing the What Breed Should I Choose series, Hopefully you guys like it. It's the point of that series is just to get you guys thinking on what dog I'm gonna choose. Like I said, I'm on the new ventures. I think I found my niche of what I'm doing with my life as far as my career, which is security, and I like it. This is just the beginning. But once once I keep growing and getting into it and getting better and achieve the certain goals I have and within the within that career field, it's just gonna get bigger and better from there. But yeah, so I want a protection dog. I want to get into it. And I know starting out with catch dog concepts with canine development and culture now. If your friends don't know, let them know. If you don't know, now you know. We are canine development and culture. The reason for that change was because I wanted to open up my platform. I feel like I kind of boxed myself in with that name, which I didn't completely let it box me in because I did everything. I did in person videos and interviews somewhat. I haven't really dabbled in the interview side of it a lot, but I mean, I've talked to people in person about dogs and whatnot. Learn some things from them while watching them work and perform. Them and their dogs perform at an event, but it's just more of a marketing thing where I can market canine development and culture a lot more than catch dog concepts. Canine development and culture, I can put on shirts and everybody be like, oh, okay, what's that? Don't you train dogs? Like, which is something I want to do. And we'll be getting into with this first dog to be my foundation for training. But like, oh, you train dogs? Oh no, yeah, I got a YouTube also, where I, talk about my perspective and get different breeders and trainers on and we learn from them and then I share my experience of things I've learned that I may be able to help somebody else out with. So that is just like it just opens it up a lot more for me. You know what I mean? And I think it's smart. A lot of people don't think about that aspect of it, and also how they're being viewed and whatnot. But excuse me, it's early. um, but I market it how I want it. I don't just do it because it'll look like this. Like I just had a rap beat on my intro. Most people would have it to where it's something I don't know, something family friendly or more for just like a based, genre of viewers. But that's just who I like rap. So I kind of put my twist and my taste on things because that's how it should be. Enough of me yapping about the marketing side of things and whatnot. But today I'm just here. I wanted to talk about my perspective and some things I've learned from, some people that I really rock with that kind of just help me with some things, some gave me some pointers and some tips on, when it comes to looking for a working dog puppy or even just a puppy in general. But also just understanding a few things within that goes on within the community. Also knowing what you want and not compromising for anything else or for what the community doesn't have that you want. You know what I mean? Which is it's difficult in some aspects and some people say you go excuse me, oh my goodness. Some people say you go through a certain amount of dogs also before you get what you want, or you may just end up being a breeder later on in your life, or at that point where you got some more money where you can go and buy what you want, on top of making sure the dog is health tested and hip tested, all the things that I like and the things that I would want, just to know like I have a healthy dog that that I can kind of determine where he's at this point, and then say we do it again to see what issues come about, or just to get a read on where his or her general health is, because I think it's important, especially like the hip test, which is difficult because it can be environmental most of the time. It's going to be environmental most of the time, and when you get say if you go to the vet, a good brother of mine told me this. Like if you go to the vet, they can't tell you that the dog has got his hips are bad because of his genetics or because of its environment. They're just going to tell you the hips are bad. But doing an early hip test just let you know where your dog's hips stand right now, and then doing another one will let you know once they're 2.5 years old. Okay, we're here. So the hips are still good. They haven't declined, they haven't deteriorated or not grown correctly. You know what I mean? So that's kind of that. But just like getting into it, I first want to say like, especially for like the younger guys, and this doesn't even have to be for younger people. It may be some that want to get into like protection trained dogs or protection work and bite work, and are looking for a dog that may be able to fulfill that want to or that need to have or have a protection dog or do protection with the dog. um I just say get your bread right first, you know what I mean? That's kind of what I'm doing. Like I'm making sure I'm stacking my bread up, so when I do make that move, because like right now I'm just fishing. I'm fishing and weighing out my options of what would be the best for my situation right now, and what would fit my lifestyle best. Like I said, I work security, so I work late. But I don't work all week, so I only work 4 days a week. So I could kind of probably have a dog that's real energetic and needs some attention, and we can do a lot of things like on the weekends. We can train, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We can train all those days. And then Monday, like maybe Monday to Thursday, we will train, but it won't be as intense as Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But I may have the availability to have that dog that I have to put a lot of time into. Um Also, like I said, getting your bread right is important because first you can get what you want, and not have to worry about like, oh, I only got so and so this much money, so I just have to get this 2,500 dog that I don't know if it has working lineage. I don't have no papers on it, or I don't even know if the parents were working. Just things like that. No health testing, or no hip test, or none of that. That I think that's important because also, like I said, when we're talking about people that are trying to get into protection training, or bite work, or even sport, whatever, um you also want to be able to pay for training. Also, you don't want to get the dog and then hope like, oh, okay, hopefully I can save enough to have this dog trained by the time he's 2, or to start training now and put the foundation on this dog. So that's what I'm doing. I'm saving to be able to purchase a dog. I have my limit of how much I really want to spend, and then also for training, which I know how much that is now. That's important. I mean, know what you're getting yourself into, and make sure that you can give this dog the best quality of life, and you can be able to handle the dog. I think that's important more than anything. Some people just get the dogs, so they'll get 2 or 3 dogs, and then once they look back on it, like, I didn't develop him or her right, like I should have. We started training late, so that may have kind of hindered them a little bit, because I could have possibly helped develop some of these qualities or traits that I wanted to show early, or that I wanted to jump on top of early. So Man, I think I'm just this type of person. I calculate my moves. I don't really like to move without, knowing too much. Like, cause I made mistakes at the young age of 19, 18. I made mistakes to where now I'm dealing with like business side of things. Like I'm dealing with it where like I'm like, man, I'm not gonna make another move like this until I really get my studies up on this field and also on what I'm trying to do. Because I made mistakes. I done lost some money. When you lose money early, that really lets you know like I'm not about to keep losing money like this because it I don't want to say it hurts, but I don't know anybody that likes losing money. So what you gonna take some L's and dogs, of course. But if we can minimize them, which is my big plan, and that's the whole reasoning of catch dog concepts, is to minimize taking L's and get gamed up on some things that I can get gamed up on before I really jump into this field and get hands on with it, which I am now. But you know what I mean. It's different when you handling the dog and you got this dog every day, and we trying to build him up and we trying to do A and B, but we can't because we got to do C and D first. You know what I mean? So just having your bread right to be able to first buy the dog that you want and also get the dog trained. I think that's very important. Um, because I see so many younger people. Excuse me. This is no hate. There ain't no hate or nothing like that. I mean, if you take it that way, it is what it is. But when I say this is just me observing and seeing what people are doing. It some move too fast, or some go, oh, let me get this dog. Let me get this dog. Let me go train with him. Come to find out he janky. You know, which like you'll experience that no matter what. Like you'll find those people that like you may train with them or talk to them and be like, oh, they really don't know what they're doing, or oh, they're doing certain things like this. I can't stick with them because of my name and who I am and who I'm trying to be. So you figure that out, but calculate your steps. I think that's the most important thing. Figure out, write a plan. Like what do I want for this puppy? What do I want to do from week 8 to year 7, 10? Like start out that way and just be calculated with it. Um, and when it comes to buying, it's just like I just told you, I have a set price. I really don't want to spend nothing over 3,000, honestly. Especially for my first dog that I'll be training. It's not going to be perfect. I'm gonna make some mistakes with the dog, of course, but just starting out, like I don't want to spend too much money. Like I said, I'm saving up to be responsible to where I can make sure this dog has everything it needs, and I can do what needs to be done with this dog and for this dog. But man, like even finding a breeder, take your time. That's just like it's time. Taking your time is so important. I feel like, and I know I haven't even bought my dog, but I've had dogs and I've gotten dogs from a breeder. And it's like I should have asked them this. I should have went down the line of certain questions that I could have asked them. To minimize or even maybe even turn myself away from them because of the things that they weren't doing or the things that they didn't even know about their own dogs. So take your time. It doesn't, I mean, the money, like, you may come up, you have to spend something on something, you may not have the same amount, but keep that money in your pocket, you know. Like the person I am, I can't go with just here go 3,000. I don't ask you no questions. I don't just slowly just like we talk and then the money just come out eventually, once I got an understanding. I'm that type of person. I just can't, here you go. And then that be it. Like you have to let me know everything about this dog. Everything I can do with it that will benefit this dog and some things I shouldn't do with this dog that'll hurt this dog. That type of thing. So like taking your time is the most important thing I feel like with all of this. Um and with it, like I realized it's a split. Um you have the working dog community and you have, let's say, the show dog community, the show world. That split is it's crazy. With the show dog world. Shout out to my friends, you know. I don't know if they watch my videos. They don't, it's cool. But just she's put me on with a lot. You know, she's getting me up on a lot of things with the show world and the working dog community. Because there is a split. And those two things are a real thing. They are their own entities. Like the show world, don't you can't some of the people you can't bring up those dogs working or even doing what they were originally bred for. If they were a biting breed or a fighting breed or a hunting breed, some of them don't like to talk about this aspect of it. But one thing I do like, they do health test some dogs. They do hip test those dogs, and the prices may resemble that, but it's more security for me, especially if I'm trying to start a line of dogs, or I told myself I'm not going to compromise on for no breeder. I want healthy dogs that I could do A and B with, you know, and make and know that like, okay, this is where my dog's health stands, you know. That that's what I like about the show world and what they do with their dogs. Some people do work and show. Excuse me. Oh my god. It's early. Excuse me. Some people do um show and show and work their dogs, you know, and I love that, you know, because I feel like form and function are both important. You need both of them to have a good quality working dog. I feel like um there's some that don't, you know, and that's the thing. That's what makes it difficult. You know, you may get a dog from him and say you want to do protection with it. I have to look at what's this dog's mental like. Can he take pressure without folding or not being able to go further after taking that pressure? Is he confident enough? Will he bite? What's his bite mechanics like? Like building those up are important, but we have to start with his genetics, you know. And do you really want to? And you have to think about it. Do you want to start your line with the dog where I have to build his bite mechanics up? I have to get him to the point starting out where his confidence is at a zero, and we have to maybe we have to build it up and maybe only get to a level 5 out of 100. You know what I mean? Like it. Those are things you have to think about, especially like if you are going to use this dog as a breed for a breeding program. Do I want to breed a dog that I have to build up mentally, um, and and its bite mechanics are so weak it lets go of everything? You know, those are things to consider, because you just don't want to start setting yourself back. And we're producing puppies that uh their pressure, their mental toughness, or their confidence only gets to a level 5 when we want it at a level, I said 100, but we want it at a level 10, and we can only get this dog to 5, and then that's how far the dogs will go. They won't go no further. Um, those are things to consider, especially when it comes to show. You know, they don't work their dogs, most of them. So, but like I said, there's some breeders that do. So don't just say, don't count me on. Oh, all show breeders don't work their dogs, or all show breeders' dogs aren't good quality and could possibly do some work. It depends on who you shop with or who you get a dog from and what they're doing with those dogs. That's the most important thing. And that kind of leads into my next thing. You know, so like I said, the show dog community, some people don't really necessarily like to talk about work or the function of what their dogs really are supposed to be doing or what their dogs were doing before. I mean what they were made for, excuse me. Uh with that, some people say they show work their dogs and you know, like their bio on Instagram. Yes, I have working dogs, or YouTube, I have personal protection dogs, you know, things like that. But you never see any videos. Um that's that's a big red flag. I've learned that actually. You know, some people say they oh yeah, I work my dogs. They do bite work. They do real life, real world personal protection. You know, we do all of that. You know, they get trained weekly or we do scenarios and sessions every week or every month. You know, people say that, but then like I said, if you don't see any videos on their page, like that stuff's promotional. Videos like bite work and protection and being agitated and being able to take that pressure and biting the decoy. Those are all promotional things. People are going to post those if they are doing it because that's how they sell their puppies. People view those videos and look at those videos and are like, okay, this dog is taking this pressure and still, standing firm and taking and doing a bite and taking a bite. This dog he's jumped through a window and still went and bit the person in the dark room. Things like that. Those things are promotional. So people are going to post those videos. Don't think that, oh, this person just didn't want to post the videos of their dogs working. No, that's pointless. Like they're going to post those videos of their dogs working. Um, so that's a red flag. If you don't see any videos or they don't have any videos of their dogs working, but they claim they have working dogs, run and run fast because 9 times out of 10 they don't work their dogs. Even if they have pictures, I need to see some videos. I don't even care about them pictures because such and such could have happened. You could have, I don't know, the situation, something, you could have done something different or something completely opposite of what I'm thinking you did in that picture. I need to see videos. And if you can, see the dogs in person, see them work in person. But everybody don't got the bread to just go out to somebody's kennel and do that. And people don't always allow you to come out to their kennels. But which I respect. But no, you need to see some videos of the parents working. It's mainly the parents. The litter that you're inquiring about. The parents, you need to see the parents work because that's the most important thing. How did they take pressure? What was their bite mechanics like? Did they have a strong grip, or did they let go after a certain point, or right on the bite they couldn't hold on to the arm or the sleeve? Those are things to think about and look at. Like I said, videos are important. You may get some working dogs from people that the parents probably didn't work, but they had a good pedigree. Genetics, they work like that sometimes, but with that, you're mitigating your chances of getting a good working dog that you can build a line on, or that could be a demo dog for you, or you could just, win some competitions with, or do protection with, and do some real world scenarios. You know what I mean? So, yeah, like I said, it's just once again, do not compromise. If you want a program where I want my foundation dogs or my first dogs, that's really mainly what you want. Your first foundation dogs to be health tested, and then as you proceed to breed and whatnot, you're going to do it to see what's in your line of dogs. But really, it's important to get those foundation dogs, those first dogs, health tested. Because that tells you everything. That'll let you know, like, even 10 years down the line, okay, I know Rocco and Fiona, they had, the hips weren't the best. They got a decent grade. It was a little lower. They got a decent grade on their hip test at 2.5 years old. Or they carried heart issues, so that could come out. Um that's the main thing with that. It's just more of like Eli from Cold River just called me. Shout out to my guy, man. If y'all haven't, check out his program. He got some beautiful baubles. Um, what was I saying? I just lost my train of thought for a second. Eli, dang it, I blame you. Um, what was I saying? Oh yes, health testing. Yeah, so it's really important to get your foundation dogs health tested, your first dogs. Just like I said, to know what you have in your line. If you don't really want to do it throughout your program, like, because every breeder doesn't health test every single puppy. That's a lot of money, which I kind of get, but there are breeders that are doing it. And I say even request that I can have my puppy health tested. I'll buy the health test at that point. I want this puppy health tested. If this program is good, I'm like, I want a dog from them. Like they have good working qualities. The pedigree looks good on the dogs. The parents look good on these dogs. The parents work good. If it's that serious, I might even buy the health test, like I said. But yeah, don't compromise for a breeder. If you want a true personal protection dog, a working dog, don't compromise and get a dog from two parents that didn't do any work, but their parents may have, or they just had a good pedigree that had working dogs in it. Don't compromise for anybody. There are too many breeders out here. You just have to find them. If you can't find them, go to your local dog trainer. They may know some. Go to Instagram. And Not all them trainers is good now. I will say that. But go to Instagram if you have friends in the community that have been through searching for a working dog or searching for a good trainer to do protection with, then I tell you, go and ask them, consult with them and say, hey man, like I'm looking for a trainer. Like, do you know any, do you got any recommendations? You may have to fly and get a pup. You may have to get a pup transported to you. That's why I say get your bread right. Get your bread right so you can do what you need to do. If you can't fly and get a transport, pay the extra 500 to 1,000 to get the dog transported to your house. But yeah, don't compromise on a trainer, on the health testing and hip testing of the dog. Because you know what you want in your program. The dog itself and its working traits. Don't compromise on that because that's important. You, at the end of the day, this is going to be your dog you're trying to train with, so don't compromise for that. But my next point is the working dog community. A lot of them, they work their dogs. You don't have any issues with the dog's temperament, and working qualities, and what they're doing. Dog is lights out when it comes to protection. He takes pressure. Um, hits the decoy hard, doesn't let go, got a full grip, strong bite, you know, checks all the boxes when it comes to performance, but they're not health tested. They're not hip tested. And especially with these bigger mastiff breeds, that's not a hint to what I'm getting. I ain't gonna catch me slipping. But with the bigger mastiff breeds, I feel like health testing is very, very, very important. The heart issues, all of that, depression in the line, and everything can't be caught in a health test, but it gives me an idea, it helps me out. And that's one thing that I would want. I will want that extra help or that extra nod, like, yeah, okay, so we know this dog is clear of all this. So it's a good chance it's gonna be a healthy dog. Like I said, the hips, it's more environmental, so that comes down the line later. It depends on what you do with the dog environmentally and what stress you put on the joints at such an early age. But no, so it when it comes down to it though, the working dog community isn't real big on health testing. I don't respect that because somebody was walking up on my window. I don't respect that because when it comes down to it, health is important, and that's hurting the community when we could keep producing these dogs that we don't know the lineage of their health on. And I get that not every dog is going to be healthy. Don't take me as one of these podcasts that are just pushing health tests, health tests, health tests, health tests, health tests. But it's important, like I said, especially starting out. If you want to breed some foundation dogs, you need it. It's important. Like you can't. I don't say you can go without it, but you are hurting the community more than you're helping the community when you do that. It's important. You can't. There's no way around it. In my eyes, just my ethics and whatnot. Like I want a dog that is health tested. Um, and like I said, I even know some people that have gotten dogs that they wanted or felt like they were like, this is what I'm going to go with, and they health tested them themselves. Now that's bold. That's that's strong when it comes to it, but some people do it. And I kind of get it. Like you're still doing a health test at the end of the day. Um, some people don't. Excuse me, and some people even still train with the dog that hasn't passed a health test or a hip test. Like they didn't have a real good grade, but they still go and work this dog, or they still compete with this dog, or they still train the dog. To build their experience. To even still give the dog a good quality of life. Cause say he or she's a good worker, she doesn't carry the best genetics when it comes to health, or her hip grade is just not good because of her genetics. If you can figure that out, then I mean people still work those dogs, but some do buy and don't health test, which is that's fine. But like I said, even doing it later down the line is beneficial to the community because when we breed these dogs and get these dogs, we you're a part of the community at that point. what you bring into the world. Unhealthy dogs or dogs you know nothing about when it comes to their health and their background. But yeah, the working dog community, they aren't big on health testing. They'll tell you that. And it's a money thing also because it can get expensive, especially like I said, you don't see a lot of people health testing for all the puppies in the litter. They'll just health test the parents. Um, but when it comes down to it, though, like I said, just don't compromise. Maybe dog may be a good worker, but you don't know jack about its health, or its line of dogs that come before it. So just don't compromise on that. And it's also structurally too. Do not compromise on structure. Structure is important. If you go to a breeder and you see that all their dogs have terrible top lines, I wouldn't buy it. Some of them don't care about most. Well, I don't want to say most of them, because there are some, like I said, some that show their dogs and work them, and some that work their dogs and show their dogs, and prioritize the standard and try to breed as close to the standard as they can and breed good conformation, because that just helps the dog be a better worker. And it helps the build of the dog. Having a strong rear, is big when it comes to dogs that run and hunt and chase and whatnot, or in pursuit. So just aspects like that help you have a better working dog. Like somebody said, they believe that a healthy dog is a working dog, but that's not always true. Um, you know, I believe in form for a function. At the end of the day, I'm not a show breeder. I don't show dogs. I might at some point. I don't know. If I get some time and all my plans working out, I might step in that show ring with a Borbal or something eventually. Um, but my point is though, I don't believe in. I believe in form for function. I want this dog built to the best of his capability and his his uh his genetics, so that he can be built for work. I want the dog built for work, but also beautiful conformation. Like that's big to me. I like a pretty dog. I don't know who doesn't. Maybe game dog people, but even then, they still have some pretty game dogs out there that are still gritty and get down and do whatever they need to do. Um, and I don't agree with dog fighting, so don't take that as that. But yeah, that's it. Like people say, oh, like I said, somebody said that a healthy dog is a working dog, but that's not always true. We don't know what that dog carries genetically. We don't know, what its hip and joints are like. We don't know what the parents had that it may have passed to this dog. So that's not always true. Don't get caught up in that. Because some people, they sell you a dream or they sell you a gimmick of, yeah, he's healthy. He works good. He bites the sleeve. He runs. He he can turn on a dime. That doesn't always mean that he's healthy, bro. Like a health test or a hip test can just give you a better idea of those certain things. And there's even tests. Shout out to Duro. He told me that there's even tests for like blood tests and whatnot for like diabetes and other stuff for dogs. And I was like, for real? He was like, yeah, I do all that. And there's levels to that with breeders. Some breeders like really take the health serious of their dogs, and I respect that to the highest degree. But some don't. Some just see it as like, I got these dogs. Like, I mean, yeah, they work or yeah, they look good. Like, you gonna buy one or what? No, I don't do no health testing or nothing like that. And like I said, it's not health testing isn't everything. It's a tool at the end of the day. But like I said, starting out, if you want to breed this dog, the dog that you get, health test it. Like don't compromise. Like that's detrimental to your program. That's how you're going to be viewed for the next 10, 20, 30, 40, however long you're breeding and out here training and producing dogs. That's going to be on your name for those years to come. So protect your image before anything else. That's how I think about it when I don't purchase or buy a healthy dog. I'm not. That's my image. I'm trying to protect it at the end of the day. Um, but that's really the whole gist of everything I wanted to say. it's just it's hard out here, to try and find a good working dog. Even though we do see a lot of videos on Instagram and we see all these clips and whatnot, which is cool, but that's not always the full story at the end of the day. So do your research, find your people, and sharpen your mind with knowledge. And I should have said this first. Take your time. There's no rush to your success. There's no rush to get to the next thing. There's no rush to get after that one thing that you want. God may be making you wait for that because it's not your time yet. He's not making you wait because you don't deserve it. It may not be your time. So God's time is always the right time. Keep researching, keep working. You're doing an amazing job. I love all of y'all out there. If you ever need any advice or something you think I may have a good idea on, please come to me. If you even just need to talk and I don't even know you that well, just come talk to me because I'm here for you. Here for everybody. I'm for anybody that supports me and watches my channel and loves what I do, because at the end of the day, some people may not have somebody, or we all we got at the end of the day. So I'm here for you. You're doing an amazing job in life. Um, keep pushing, keep fighting, keep waiting. The Lord has woke you up for a reason. You're not just here, for no reason. So stop waking up acting like you just happen. You didn't just happen. You have a purpose. So find your purpose, figure it out, get to it, and I'll see you at the top. This is another episode of Catch All Oh no, not Catch All Concepts. Canine Development and Culture. I hope y'all enjoyed the episode. Working on an interview. Hope y'all see that. Working on an interview. Hopefully next week. But I was talking to Complete Canine Services. I think I didn't say his full name. I forgot the L. CCLS Canine though. Dog trainer. We're gonna talk. We're gonna chop it up. Seem like a cool dude. So that's that. Trying to think of something else. Oh, most likely going to drop another episode of what breed should I choose? Breed number 2. I should be dropping that this week. Don't hold your breath, you might fall out. No, but yeah, I'm gonna work on what breed should I choose for this week, and then like I said, next week I'm working on an interview with my guy. So be on the lookout for the episode this week of what breed should I choose, and the interview for next week. But enough of me yapping. That is it from me. I love y'all. Thank you, and one love.
Another C.D.C. production.